Welcome to Focus on Liberia, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Anthony Sie in this edition of our show. Welcome and welcome to our broadcast. Folks in cyberspace, hit that share button for all, share the show with your contact. And you want to be here because we are here to have a substantive discussion on the promises made by our current administration. We have a guest in studio representing the civil society organizations in Liberia. His name is Mr. Eddie Jarwolo. He is the executive director of NayMote. You want to be here. This institution has been tracking promises made by politicians before and after getting to power to be able to tell whether they are fulfilling the promises. And he said to us, there are 113 promises made by our current administration, and they have been tracking those promises. And so you want to be here to see what our government has been up to. Has the government been fulfilling those promises that it has made to the Liberian people? And here is the headline. Liberia, President Weah achieved 8% for promises made in 3 years. NayMote new barometer shows. So you have it right there. This is where you want to be. At this time, I will welcome my guest. His name again is Mr. Eddie Jarwolo, Executive Director of NayMote. Mr. Jarwolo, welcome to Focus on Liberia. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for providing me your platform, and I really love the music. I was dancing in my seat.
That is a very good music there. I said I was dancing in my seat. You are here, and we are happy to have you. This is your first time I Focus on Liberia, and it is a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for the wonderful job you're doing to educate Liberians across the world about what's happening back home.
All right. Again, folks, this is Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. About our guest, Eddie D. Jarwolo is a Liberian civil society leader with over 18 years of professional experience. He earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology from the AME Zion University and a Master of Public Administration degree in Public Sector Management from the Cotton University Graduate School. Eddie has participated in various international fellowship programs, including the U.S. Department of State International Visitors Exchange Program, the U.S. Department of State's Community Solutions Fellowship Program, and the Reagan Fossil Democracy Fellowship. Eddie is the Executive Director of NayMote Partnership for Democratic Development, and in 2016, Eddie established the Young Political Leadership School Africa, a school designed to contribute to the formation of a new generation of character-driven political leaders that will be accountable, responsible, and accessible to the needs and interests of their citizens and help to shape the future of their respective countries in the positive direction. The school has trained 630 young political leaders across the ECOWAS region. What an impressive profile by our guest, and that puts him in a better position to discuss our topic, which is the promises of our current administration. Mr. Jarwolo, welcome again. The name Jarwolo, what does it mean? And before you start, my name is Sie. Sie in my language means good. So I'm a good guy, and I can say that without hesitation. Tell me about Jarwolo. What does that name mean? Does it mean you are the giant of democracy?
It should be a combination of different factors. First, my parents came from Bon County.
Okay.
I born in Habel, grew up in Bomi, and we all moved in most of the country. So I well decentralized in full country, and I think Jarwolo, my grandfather thought I was a strong man.
You were a strong man, and of course you are, because trying to establish an institutions to train young people in politics, and so far you've been able to train 630 of them that will be responsible and accountable to their people. That is impressive. That is the real strength. I don't think physical strength is the strength we should be looking for. But you are on a mission here. And we are glad, certainly, to have you. Earlier, when I was doing my intro, we showed this headline, which is President Weah achieved 8% of promises made in 3 years, according to your new barometer. Why are you trying to communicate to the Liberian people here, first of
all? We have a very rich country. We need leadership that's more accountable. The vote that President Weah got placed him at a position where he had to deliver on those promises he made as a part of a social contract between he and the voter. People ask why you never started Adding Time. Adding Time was doing some with legislators, but this time we decided to move to the higher level. So from the day of campaign, we wrote the different political parties to send other party manifestos. We track campaign promises, speeches, and up to 3 years in office, we have tracked 113 promises of President Weah. The promises track, we had to be verified. It had to be something that we have seen, we have tested, and can prove that yes, the promises were completed. The second aspect is that ongoing is that any action taken. So if you say you want to build a school and just start a foundation, we consider that as action taken. So we say ongoing. If there's no information, you have not started anything at the Body Island, the Coastal Highway, the school feeding programs, the issue about if you're 70 years old, you have free health care, we show that these promises are not started. So these are the three categories in which we rated the president.
So for those who are not familiar with your work, tell me, I know you said these are promises that have been made by these people out of before, while in office, and the goal of this is what?
We want to promote what they call democratic accountability. People have to be accountable to voters. If you make promises that you will do this for them and they agree and they vote for you, we expect that you will deliver on the promises. Secondly, we want to improve government performance. If what we're saying, if the government, the president can take it serious and start checking on the different pillars, because the promises tie into pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, pillar 4. So on pillar 1, you say power to the people. There are specific promises you made under that pillar. So if we have set up a system that say, these are promises we made, these are promises completed, these are promises ongoing, these are promises that have not started. So any good administrator will just take that chart and follow up on the promises. And not anything that we're making, we're just reminding the government to say, if you do this thing, you can say tomorrow, even NayMote rated us on those promises that we made. So when people say the government not done nothing, what is it saying? Do they follow on the promises the government made? Or they just saying because things are not happening in the country? So we thought to bring this up and have a national conversation around our governing process and to enhance democratic accountability in our society.
Again, for better understanding, how do you go about gathering the promises? Where do you go? What are the events that you follow, to document these promises in the first place?
So we have people train. We train people on how to track these promises. We get people monitoring different radio stations. We get people monitoring the social media pages. We have people assigned to different ministry and agency. So on a healthcare, there are people on a healthcare that monitor this different health. So when you say you are trained 1,000 teachers, for example, on an education, we follow up. We want to see where they train, who are they, how do we verify that? If you say you have built a clinic, we get people going there, we take photo. So one of the aerobic promises was the military hospital. The military hospital, one of the promises we're tracking, and it has gone almost 95%. But because the coronavirus and people start using it, so people think that we should complete it, but no. And one of the ministries that have been very, very accessible to us is the Ministry of National Defense. They are gone 95% because there are a lot of other stuff that should be placed in our 14 military hospital that have not come. Other ministry agencies, it's like secret society, very difficult to release the promises. But we have people trained to to track the promises. We monitor the radio, we monitor social media, we monitor the executive mansion website. I mean, we monitor a lot of stuff that the government and the president do. So people are very trained to do that.
So had there been any challenges in your verification processes? Like you go to an agency and maybe they say, like the example you gave about education, that, oh, we have trained these amount of people. What do you look for? Do you look for whether there was a budget to that effect? What are the things you look for to prove that, oh, yes, this is verifiable or this has been verified?
So we want to know who are they, where were they trained, either what part of the country, I mean, how they got there, whatever. So everything that will validate that this went on is wrong. One day we wrote the Ministry of Education and they sent information about number of teachers that have been placed on the payroll.
Right.
And we also monitor a deputy minister from the ministry on radio. But we realized that when the president was addressing the nation, he gave completely different information. So I met the minister one time, we'll have a discussion. He said, no. He said, actually, this is total number of people who train. But then we read the minister, and the minister cannot easily respond to us. We had to find a way to get to somebody who would give us the information. And so now they hosted the information. So our verification had to make sure that if we're not clear with it and we know that there are some action taken, we just place it at ongoing. To be completed, we had to make sure it's verifiable, it validated, it launched, and we can say, yes, this is what happened, this is what we say. The second challenge is that most of the promises are not time-bound, they're not quantitative. So you say you will improve the healthcare system.
Right.
That promise is very difficult to complete. If you say you train 5 nurses or 10 medical doctors, it's easy for us to verify and complete that than just being junk. So you say you will do feeder roles. You're not telling how many feeder roles you're going to do. Like the dual community role was specific. So we capture dual community role as completed. So the raw fee highway, and most of the time when we bring out this report, we make recommendation. And our 4th report we recommend to the president, be specific. So when he spoke to the nation on January 2020, he said he was specific on some issue, like the technical vocational program, the raw fee highway, and how long it would take to do it. They're talking about putting on 1,500 street lights. So now they're getting to be quantitative, that we can build more than 1,500 street lights have been erected, and they can say completed. But as far as we're concerned right now, it's ongoing because we're monitoring that.
How do you think your tracking mechanism is of help or can be of help, or how should the government see it in terms of its performance?
I think the government should see this as an opportunity for them to be reminded on what they said they're going to do. There are some ministers who are not members of the political parties. There are some people in the government who are not even seeing the party manifestos. So we keep reminding them, this is what you say you're going to do. This is copied the manifestos. So most of what in the manifesto will also place in the what they call the PAPD. So all we do is just keep reminding the government that these are the things you say you're going to do, and ensure that when you're making national budget, you place money in the budget on those promises that you say you're going to do. You can't say you will do this. Like for example, you say you're going to have a school feeding program. Now you're not doing school feeding program, but you're giving how they call it, free tuition. Free tuition was not in the promise of the government when it started. So there are a lot of promises the government made that they are not focusing, they are not allocating budgetary support. In much that they have a lot of influence and high profile people in the legislature where the allocation made, but even if some of the lawmakers don't even understand what the government promised to do. So we have shared the report with almost all the senators, all the representatives, senior member of the government, the president had copy, international media like Al Jazeera, BBC, Radio France International, also for the capital. So a lot of people see that as a positive step forward. And that's not only in Liberia. In Nigeria, they had the Bukari meter. In other parts of the world, people are now saying, though, we have to hold people accountable on campaign promises so that we can post. Because when you start to achieve this thing that you promise to do, the likelihood of you being re-elected, it's just clear because you say exactly what you implementing what you say you're going to do.
All right, let's look at this. Talking about holding the government feet to the fire on its own words, meaning promises. You look at some key categories or some key areas. You're looking at increasing access to social services, like hospitals, school building and all that roles, improving the economy, effort in ending poverty, increasing food production, fostering reconciliation, fighting corruption, transparency, security, and the rule of law. These are the key areas you are focusing where the government have made pronouncement and some, announcement, and you want to make sure that those areas are taken care of based on their own words. Why is that important?
But the government should be able to manage the country for every Liberian, whether people voted for them or not. They are the government and they are to provide the basic social services, which every government in the world should do. So increasing access to social services, we're looking at education, healthcare, water, or electricity. In Liberia, even most of other countries, we don't even have at least 60% of the people having access to safe drinking water or electricity. Let's speak about the 14 counties. So for that particular area, the government still have to do a lot of work to make sure that you decentralize social services. Make sure that schools across the country have the support, qualified teachers, books, and teachers are paid on time and able to do the right thing to do. But right now, basic social services across the country is very poor, completely poor. Last week, the president visited just, I think, 2 or 3 public schools and was so frustrated. Right in Monrovia. I mean, you don't want to see the photo that came from the other counties. People are posting photos from Nima, from Magibi, from Bon. You don't want to see where our children go to school. And I don't think President Weah want to see children, Liberian, going to that school. But he trusts the Minister of Education so much, but he not been able to verify. So through this report, the president can say, yes, we made this promise, let's live up to it. And what do? They control the budget. Let them decide to put more money in the budget than giving 80% of the budget just for salary.
All right, let's go in some specific details. According to your barometer here, of the 113 total promises made by the government of President Weah, 9 promises completed, constituting 8%. 54 promises are ongoing, constituting 48%. 50 promises not started, either because there's no information whatsoever on whether or not work has started on those promises as projects, which constitute 44%. You are the expert here. Looking at these numbers, how can one interpret them? The government is doing well, or the government is not doing well?
The government just need to appreciate what we're doing and work towards improving that. When we released the 30-month report or Sunday back, the margin was 50% complete. I mean, 50%, including ongoing and completed. Today, it's almost like 56%. And I think that regardless about the health crisis, the public health crisis, they have made some effort in terms of taking action towards the other promises. So you have 6 years. You have completed 56%, or you have completed 8, and you have this amount of percentage ongoing. For me, I don't like to attach grade or say poor, good, or fair, but it's just something that we should appreciate, that at this time, the government has taken some action to improve on the promises they made. 54%, 54%, there's no information available. 44%, there's no information available. And we show that all effort to prove that these 50 promises, something started, is not just possible. But then when it comes to the ongoing promises, like I said, some of the promises are so broad that it would take very long time to even reach to a conclusion and say the particular promise have been completed. But let's look at some of the promises that are completed. So look at the wax fee, the payment of wax fee completed, the renovation of JFK, the passing of the Land Right Act, the completion of fire vetting home in Nikutan, the payment of the dual community role. So these are specific promises that you could just see and know that it was made and completed. For other promises ongoing, like I said, the 14 military hospital, there's a hospital already built in Kawa, or how they call it, from Nikutan, Redemption Hospital.
Yeah, Redemption Hospital.
Yeah, so there are all activities that are ongoing, and the more government can focus on the promises put money in the budget on the promises, make sure that the responsible institution focus more on these promises, I think they'll be doing well. Yeah.
And according to your barometer here, the CDC government has just gone 3 years and they got 8% completed. If you look at 8% being completed, I know they got 54 ongoing. And now you just said from your local things, it would take a long time for those projects to be completed. Are you sure by the time this administration or first term is over, they will be able to complete about 50% of the total promises made? Go ahead.
I can't guarantee that it will require budgetary support. We had some time to talk to some of the responsible institutions. They will tell you, Eddie, we agree these promises were made, but there's no money in the budget for implementation. So to achieve these promises, it means the government has to put money in the budget. The more the government put money in the budget and focus on the promises, we can guarantee, yes, that if even the incomplete 50%, but they are made some effort. And we're doing this so that the next election, even the opposition that coming up with promises, the promises will be a way it can be something that we can work on easily. So I can't guarantee that will be 50% completed. But let me just give you an example of the Pokari meter. The Pokari meter made 220 promises. Mm-hmm. He completed less than 12%. He had almost like close to 50 some more ongoing.
Right.
He got re-elected because when you can show people that these are the things I promised to do on this level and give me a chance to do this, you know, it will make sense. But whenever we come up with a report, we are being attacked by people in the government, that we are politically motivated, we're working for the opposition, we're looking for donor money. They don't see this as an opportunity to be reminded of what they want to do, and I just hope that they can see this as something that want to help the government to succeed. Because what good it would do if President Weah sit for 6 years and don't do anything. Like today, he dedicated a new LPRC building. They will get a free project. Those things will leave for Liberia. He will leave, another government will come. So let's encourage him to make sure that those promises he made, he can just deliver on the promises.
All right, let's come to some breakdown of these promises again. Here, let me read something. Here are some promises. Let's do this one. In infrastructure, for example, according to your barometer, they made 20 promises that you have tracked, and then of the 20, 3 promises completed, 10 are ongoing, 7 are yet to be started, either because there's no information on it. So let's come to the 3 that they completed. Do you have some examples in mind? If so, what are they?
Yeah, so the fire victim home in Nikutan, we put down infrastructure, the 2 community road, we put that on the infrastructure, and I think the JFK renovation. So these are the 3 promises I can remember. The government, if you see among the different promises made, infrastructure have been one area that President Weah focused a lot. So a lot going on with road construction. But like I said, the promises on, if you make a promise on connecting most of our county with road connection, it's so broad. It's not, you're not saying we'll build the road from rail light to Fenner campus. You're not time bomb, you're not quantitative, so it's difficult. So it's broad. But there have been more investment, more focus on infrastructure on the President Weah government than even accountability and transparency, human rights, and physically challenged and all that stuff. Yeah.
So for the 10 promises that are ongoing, any example on the 7 that are yet to get started? We have heard about this. Most talk about Coastal Highway, you know.
Yeah, Coastal Highway, the Bali Island.
Bali Island, yeah.
The construction of mini sports stadium in 7 counties. Yeah, and the road network. I mean, a lot of other promises on road network that have not started. Ongoing projects, basically road construction, the 14 military hospital, the redemption hospital, all the promises that are ongoing. Yeah.
All right. So the 14 Gorbachev market, what category did you put it in?
Infrastructure is completed.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Then okay, sorry about that. Let's come to this one. Promises with no information whatsoever. You said there are, according to front page reporting, based on your recent report, there was no information. There was no available information on action taken on the following promises: provision of adequate and special attention to vulnerable students with history of misconduct, learning, and physical disability; submission for passage of the Liberian Technical Vocational Education and Training Commission Art; establish in communities within various communities a viable adult literacy program for rural farming and market women; construction of 7 modernized mini soccer stadium across 7 counties and capitals; ensure the provisions of free medical services and recreation centers for senior citizens beyond the age of 7 years, etc. So these are areas or promises they made, and there's no information, nothing whatsoever. So do you remember the one about the rehabilitation center and free healthcare for seniors above age 70?
Nothing going on. Nothing going on. If you look at these promises under number 4, construction of 7 modern mini soccer stadium in 7 counties. If you have promises like this, it's easy to tell what is completed now because it's really quantified.
Right.
But all the promises, like last year when President Weah spoke to the legislature, he talked about the passage of this the TVET commission, and that's what I've already been supporting. That's what I've already been talking about. So I was really impressed. But we've gone 1 year, there's been no action taken. She had to submit a bill. For passage to have a TVET commission where young people can go and learn trade. Because the problem in Liberia right now is that you go to the Ministry of Youth and Sport, they get assistant of technical vocational education, they get deputy minister of technical vocational education. If you go to the Ministry of Education, they get technical. So the 2 ministries have 2 deputy ministers, 2 assistant ministers doing the same work on TVET. So our Ben set up an independent or set up a commission that would just handle the whole TVET issue and take it from under the ministry, let them focus on the else. So I was impressed, but there's no information that any bill have been passed or you are not submitted any bill to pass to have this technical vocational commission act that will help to get vocational opportunity for our young people in Liberia. No information on all these promises.
Then on governance and transparency, the 4th pillar of the party's manifesto remains the weakest pillar. 23 promises were tracked and none completed. 12 promises are ongoing. 11 now started or not rated due to lack of available information. There's no available data on action taken towards 5 promises made on physically challenged and senior citizen.
Yeah. So if you look at the issue on physically challenged senior citizen, 5 promises, only the 5 promises, none. There's no available information of any action taken on these promises. And with this particular 5 promises include 70 years old having access to free education. So, free healthcare. So there's absolutely nothing. On a governance transparency, that's the core of the government operation, the management of the states, the decentralization, local government, provision of basic social services. At that particular area, the government has done nothing in 3 years to complete any of the actions or promises made to improve governance, the management of the state. So we always highlighted that. We highlighted it last year with the hope that by this time they will be able to make some effort. But there's nothing much has started.
And beside promises that you are tracking, which I'm very impressed about, is your institution thinking about maybe tracking the performance of ministry or agency by agency, just to see the competition may start Is that something you're looking at, or it will be a difficult thing for you?
Currently, we're tracking 12 lawmakers. So we decided to do a pilot project because when I only really talking about the president media, people appreciated that. People say we also want to track the lawmakers. So we're tracking 12 representatives. We have all the prime ministers. We start tracking them, and we release our first report. And we realized that the first year report was basically focusing on just representation, going back to the district, setting up what they call the district committees, and not much about anything.
Oh, what's going on there?
Compiling report for 3 years. We coming out hopefully the first week in February. We also tracking the new senator that got elected, the 15 senators across the 15 counties. We track all their promises. So we're going to do that. And like I said, the whole idea about this promises started like 2011. We started with few lawmakers. And when we started with few lawmakers, it was very difficult. In fact, they were like afraid of us. To even give all the promises they made and to work with us was very complicated. But guess what? After 2 years, they start to appreciate what we're doing, because not just releasing a report, we go back to the community in your district, we organize a town hall meeting, we explain to the people what you say you're going to do and what you're doing. And today, all of the 6 or 7 representatives we work with from 2011, most of them got re-elected, one just got re-elected as senators. But when we release the first report, the other guy, like the former deputy speaker, Prince Moy, who now senator, he called Eddie, why you not release on me again? The people calling, complaining. I said, that's what you promised to do. And when we called to a town meeting, he told the people, now that I know I've been checked, I'm going to do my best. And today, if you go to his district, you see a lot of things. Painful Fana, him, Bachu, all the people who work with them. We started working on it difficult. But as they start doing work and we go to the districts and organize meetings and speak to the people start appreciating it. It's not all about the money. It's about how you communicate with your people. Accessibility, be responsive, be accountable to the people. And most of them got re-elected. I think one person got messed up. Or that was Stephen Kafia from my GB, but all the other people work with got re-elected because we keep reminding them, we keep organizing meetings, we keep bringing people together, interacting with them. And it was for several days now, basically want to bring the government down. They try to keep the government reminded that this is what you say you're going to do. Don't forget. Don't forget to do it. When you're 70 years old, you have free education. The people voted for you. You told people.
Yeah, Eddie, I was just about to say, given what you're doing here and the success story that you just talked about other lawmakers and trying to even appreciate your work, does this give you some semblance of hope that if we all can hold these elected officials accountable on what they say, we're going to have a responsible government and they're going to be responsible to the people?
What we're doing is first release a report, then we'll have a national conversation, like what we're having right now. I mean, from Africa, people reading. So when people start reading, people got to know that these people made promises. People got to start holding them accountable. Gradually, the politician will start to deliver. The people will start to appreciate, and they can be re-elected. We need to improve. We can't continue to sit down after every 6 years, we go to election, elect somebody, and you neglect the people, and people get frustrated. Because if we don't deliver on the promises, gradually people participation in politics will just get demotivated. So we're pushing them. We're pushing them now with the legislature. You'd be surprised to know that from 2006 to 2007 budget to 2020 to 2020 budget, the legislature has received more than 400 million. But guess what? There's no website. There's no voting record. There's no annual report. There's no, I mean, it's just, you can see nothing tangible. But then you see people go by and say, vote for me. We're all giving you a report of what it did. We're all that voting record. We vote for them, you know, become senator, getting 9 years. So when we start raising the awareness, when people understand that these people are working for us, they can report to us, they are accountable to us, and we can punish them at the pool if they don't do the right thing, I think our country will go somewhere. But we need to have a more discussion on that. And the second thing about our election, I will listen to Mandela Kopo is that I will give you the example. So if you have 50 person in a room and you're going to have an election, under the 50 person, you have like, let's say, for example, 30% can smoke opium. If you go to have election, it's possible that those 40%, they 30% can smoke opium could easily win the election. So our election is not more about experience, because those voting have no other way to experience. It's not about education, because the voters are not educated. So what do we do to get them to vote for the right people? Is to start teaching them on issue-based election. What is the opposition role on healthcare? On education. So now that the President Weah visited 3 schools and saw that it's in a mess, Madam said the education system was a mess. What the opposition position on it? What are they doing to solve the mess? Healthcare, what the opposition platform? Because if we don't have a strong opposition, we don't have a strong political parties, I don't care who you bring in Liberia, we ain't going nowhere. So the political party institution that real mean business. And not just come on the radio and say, oh, President Weah failed. President Weah not doing nothing. What your platform? What is it going to do? So as we track President Weah and report on it, they are reading, the opposition reading. They have to make sure that their promises resonate with the people and deliver on what they say they're going to do.
I will come to the political parties. You said something about the legislature not having a website.
No website, no voting record, no electronic voting system, no clean restroom. I mean, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating.
Our first branch of government that walks away with the biggest budget, every budget here, does not have a website.
So in 14 years or less than 14 years, these people have received $500 million US. You can't track the voting record. You don't know who voted for what. They don't have website. They don't have reports. But we keep voting for them because there's no option. The people are not seeing the opposition to be strong, to speak on issues and hold the government accountable.
And Eddie, talking about their budget, I got some information here. You see, from 2016 all the way to 2021.
Yeah.
You see the Senate, the House of Representatives, and you see the total. It has been going up and up and up. You start from to go to the total. 2006, 2007. Look at the amount of money.
Look at the amount of money. For the full million.
Yes. Can you imagine? This is the kind of money they've been receiving, and they don't have a functioning website.
No website, no voting record. You cannot get voting record for any senator or any representative in the legislature. Right now, I did like 20 town hall meetings, taking some of them to community to go talk to people, and realize people don't even know the working of the legislature. People don't even know what a legislator should be doing. So currently, with the Legislative Information Office, we have produced a book called Legislative Advocacy Handbook to teach people exactly what a legislature should be doing. We gave them all the contact information, all the email addresses, all the phone number, which committee they're on, so you can call your lawmaker and get them to work for you. But if you go to the legislature, every day people online, like a welfare center where people there begging for money, they're holding the people accountable. So we have a lot of work to do. If we can get this thing done, we should expect miracle from Liberia. I mean, we get along with it.
Not at all. And I think the legislature is not alone in this issue of not having a website in this morning age, right? There are a lot of ministries and agencies that have no functional website. This is profound.
Yeah. So if you go to represent a country, like you come in as Minister of Justice,
right?
You get somebody your business card, and your business card get on it Yahoo or Gmail. They don't take it serious. They never take it serious. Later organization, like my organization, for the past 15 years, we have a website. We have 2 different websites. The different branches of government are still using their personal email addresses. They're using their personal email addresses. Because if the legislature was serious to be more transparent, accountable, and accessible to the people, and responsive, they can hold the executive to account. They can be able to work with the various county. There's no county in Liberia that have a strategic plan. No county. There's no county in Liberia that can tell you, this is our 5-year strategic plan. This is what we want our county to be like. These are the resources we have. Human resources or natural resources. No county. But guess what? No money going to the county. Like I started to tell just one company, give Nima County $1.5 million every year. Give Grand Bassa County $1 million every year. Give Bon County $500,000 every year. There's nothing you can show. There's nothing you can show for this county. Each county have a website and showcasing the goodness, their resources, and the manpower they have. People from outside could make business directly with the county, but it's not happening. So from the county to the legislature to the executive, I mean, this is a serious challenge on issue of management of the state.
Let's come to the political parties. The issue of the lawmaker is still baffling me here. I don't know we can trace the root to the political parties because these people, many of them come from the political parties. The very political parties, some of which don't have website. And then they get into the legislature. These political parties are loosely managed or not managed at all, tie around one person, And so they get in the legislature. What they practice at the political party level, they practice it at the legislature. What is the political parties? What are they doing wrong here from your assessment?
Political parties in Liberia are not institutionalized. They are not institutions. They are built around one person. They either built around Benana Ure, be around Alexander Cummings, be around Mandela Kopo, just be around one person. It's not institution. They don't have shared vision. They don't even have issues that's different from the CDC. If you bring any of the politician right now in your state and ask them the same thing CDC promised to do, that what they will tell you.
Yeah.
So what differentiate them? What different? They are the same people. And because they are not institutions, they don't have the right people. So when you come into election, people go to them, they organize what they call the convention, take money from people and put in the party. So the people don't feel obligated to the party also. As soon as they can get in the legislature, there's someone that are taking loan from the bank to run campaign, they have to pay back. They don't know more. See what happened, they lose the deputy speaker position. They lose the deputy speaker position was a compromise arrangement so that the opposition had a deputy speaker position to have a balance. But they lose it. They lose it. All the big money say they lose it. So now the ruling party have the speaker, the deputy speaker, the chairman on executive, the chairman on ways, means and finance. All the powerful committees are headed by the ruling party. But then what are they doing in the legislature to help the president to succeed? Because if you get all the different top committee in the legislature, and you can't help to put money in the budget to implement the promises that were made by the president, then you're not doing good for yourself. So it's a two-way street. The political party weak, people in the government, people that are elected, mostly focusing on their own interests. They feel that the party is not a party that's going to make me win. I need to get money to go back and run campaign. And I tell you, in the next 3 years, it's going to be very tough because they're going to keep money to pay for votes. All this collaboration you see down there, I did an analysis that the collaboration may not hold because everybody want to be president. Nobody want to be a vice president. Don't want to be said. Everybody want to be president because that's where you sit and control the whole government. The executive, the president is so powerful that he control the two other branches of government. You have influence with the legislature. You have influence in the judiciary. So we have to improve government. Like right now, we have the local government part. The local government talking about decentralizing power. Give the local people opportunity. You know what the people did in the legislature after everything? They took out the elected power. They said, no, we can't allow the people in the county to elect a superintendent because the superintendent will feel that she was elected, or he was elected, I was elected. So there'll be no respect.
And that's why I was just about to come to. And I don't know how that should be a problem instead of it being a solution.
They want to control. When Dr. Tokba, Henry Tokba was president of Cottington, we spent over $18,000 for 6 months to train local leaders. And we train in Bonkana, we train almost like 20 some more local leaders for Cottington were like 2 times per week. And I tell you, the first time I start to lecture, then I ask them, there are 3 branches of government. Which branch of government are you guys under? A district commissioner told me we work under the judicial branch of government. Judicial branch of government, people are laughing, but that's all they do. So all the local leaders are just using customary law and investigating cases and getting what they can get, pay fine. And that's what they're living on. So the local government is weak. But guess what? After we went through that 6 month of training, all the people that went through the training, most of them started demanding accountability. They knew the county budget, they knew what in the budget for the county, how the money had been used. They knew that project in the district were not project by the legislature, but project allocated to budgeted support. Almost 80% of the people got dismissed when President said he was in power. They got dismissed because the lawmakers said, I can't work with this guy. Just
wow.
Yes, all got dismissed.
So, from your assessment of things, if we should empower our local government, because I mean, when you look at it, the way the budget is being structured, even though there's not much in there for counties, for the county development fund, the recent one I saw is 200,000 across the board for each county, right? And counties like NayMote and maybe Bond that have things going in there, they are the one getting what they call social development fund. But my county, like Grand Crew, that has no company operating, nothing, is that $200,000. Do you think if the county government, the senators, I mean the superintendent are elected and they are given the fund to look at the needs of the county, we will be getting to a better place?
You'll be surprised that even the 200,000 you're talking about is still controlled by the legislature. When you go to what they call the county sitting, the superintendent, the superintendent, civil society, or zero, they don't make decisions. So when they identify a project, the project is basically a political project. You want to identify a project in your electoral districts. You want to build toilet when the people don't want toilet. You want to build bridges when the people don't want bridges. So the people have no say. So the local government, I say, give our own power, elect us, let's do our work, give all the time to elect people. In Sierra Leone, people are more interested in local government election than national election because these are the people that directly represent them. And I can tell you, when you go to the rural area like Grand Crew, you're talking about, there are a lot of resources there. I mean, people are doing a lot of illicit money, but illicit money are also connected with the politician. So the local authority don't have much to do. If you give local authority, local administrator the opportunity to identify their own development project and get them money to implement, you will see some improvement. Seriously. Because yeah.
No, I was just about to. That is true that some of the illicit money that are going on in some of the counties, farther away from us, Sorrento County, lawmakers are connected. Blamu Nelson, he was senator for Grand Crew County. I know the guy very well. He had a gold company called 2020 that was mining gold and reporting to him that was never registered with the Liberian government. And he was a senator violating the law in the faces of the people. Our people had no knowledge whatsoever that they sent him and they can tell him what they want and now he's telling them what to do.
See, I mean, I can tell you, in all the rural like Bapolo County, the illicit money is so hard that government, the police, the immigration, ministers, senators are aware. But they are not taking action because they benefit from the illicit money. And guess what? In Bapolo, a whole school closed down because the teachers and the students had to go to the mining center to work to get money because the teacher are not taking pay on time. They call me aware, Minister of Internal Affairs aware, Minister of Lands and Mine aware, Senator and Representative aware of the illicit money across the country. Nothing happening because the local authority don't say much. If you say anything, the senator can tell the president, I don't want to work with that guy as superintendent. And the president will take action on that.
And Eddie, are you sure that when the local government, the county governments are empowered, given the training, made to know that they control the counties, they make the decisions as to what should be done, these lawmakers will start interfering with what's clearly not their responsibility?
The legislature will not even allow that. That's why the local government act, they fatal the local government act. And that's some thing I will blame Malanseli. Malanseli have the time to do this, but the legislature don't want a local government act that will get independent of the superintendent and all elected positions. So they took out the component of election within the local government and just set up an ad hoc body that they can control. Like what they wanted to do with the dual citizenship law. They said you won't be citizen of Liberia and citizen of America, but you can contest. So it's all about them. They just protect their interests. You can't contest. You can't be appointed a minister. You can't do nothing. Then when you go to the rural area, the rural people say, if you want to make them citizen, they can't take our land. So there was just competing interests that got the whole referendum killed. So I seriously think that if we can give the local government opportunity to get the resources to manage, they can get things done. I'll tell you, in a rural area, like you talk about Grand Crew, how many police officers in Grand Crew? But Grand Crew is more peaceful than where you get all the police officers in most of the country.
Certainly, yeah.
Because you go to all this country, you go to the River G, I work in River G during the Ebola crisis. The people are there, they live in peace. Yeah, much I think tough. You can't, nobody will just break the law. When they say everybody clean the road, the people come on, they clean the road. Stay home, they stay home. No gun, no court. But they respect local authority.
And Eddie, I agree with you. If we can put emphasis on empowering our local government, where each county is trying to do what they do. I mean, it's not because I'm from Grand Crew, right? You are right. Grand Crew is pretty much peaceful. No one's fighting anybody there. People get out, they go on their farm, teachers go to the school. Imagine if the county government is empowered trying to improve those schools, trying to work with the local police there. That county will be peaceful. Another county might envy it. The next thing we'll know, there is a national competition that has, started, and that will get us there instead of, this moral influence is hurting us. Don't you think so?
Yes, it's seriously hurting us. And we really think that the legislature should be basically there for the interest of the people. They should be able to pass. They passed a local government act in 2018, but I have not been able to function because they refuse to allocate budgetary support. They still want to control the local government, because the more you control the local government, like after election, that the government, the CDC government, asks all the town chief, the superintendent, the district commissioner to vote for sedition. So you can't keep controlling the people. So at the end of the day, you will tell them to vote, but then when they go vote, it's secret ballot, you don't know who they're voting for. So I would tell people, as a government, do the best thing. If you do the right thing, people see that you do the right thing, people see that their life has been transformed, they will consider you. You can't intimidate people, you can't harass people, you can't determine what people should do. So the local government structure is just there as an institution. Like we said, the 1.5 million going to NYMA. Through Prince Johnson and other people, they were strong. They fought hard. They bought equipment to do some work doing Manasarita, but now most of the equipment broken down. They're not getting the money because sometimes they got the national government borrow the same money, the 200,000, the social development fund, they borrow it, use it to pay. And it will take some time before they can even give the money back to the local authorities. So the little money that have been going to the county, if you go there, you see a hand pump, renovation of school, renovation of police station, but not enough. It's really not enough. We should have a share. The budget with 500 plus million. It should be decentralized. It should actually be decentralized. We need to come to a town where Liberia will be, just do Liberia like a region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4. Every region should have something that all other regions should have. Let's compete. Then it's small country that divide us.
Folks in cyberspace, focus on Liberia. I'm Anthony here hosting. My guest is Mr. Eddie Jarwolo. He is the executive director of NayMote. That is a civil society organization that is using what it calls barometer to measure the promises made by political leaders in Liberia. And in their latest report, they are tracking 113 promises made by our current government. Out of the 113, the government has been able to complete or fulfill 9 of its promises, constituting 8%. 54 promises are ongoing. 50 promises not started, no information whatsoever, constituting 44%. And so the government has just gone 3 years, but it has been able to complete only 8% of the promises. Well, your guess may be as good as mine, whether or not they're going to complete up to 50%, when in fact, they have just 8% completed in 3 years. Eddie, let's look at the issue of the Liberian people, the voters themselves. We are talking a lot about the politicians, the game that they play, how they are trying to step on everything that empowers the Liberian people to minimize their influences on us, on development efforts. They want to be seen as the gods, right? In any way, is there a way you see the Liberian people being part of the problem?
Yes, because they are making the decision at the pool. So President Weah got elected 14 out of 15 counties. So a lot of people trusted him. A lot of people believe in him. A lot of people believe that he could be that change maker, especially when he came with the Change for Hope. Mm-hmm. And the last time the independent speaker said, Mr. President, change is here. Where's hope? People are hopeless. You don't want to see somebody, the school campuses. You don't want to see some of the health center. You don't want to see the life that people living right side of the president, one platform of the president. People don't even have access to water. So it's like 6:30 to 7 in the morning, you see young children going to fetch water to tip out to go to school. Right in most of the country, right side of the president. Mr. President still loved by Liberian people. He just need to come out, get the right people around him to help him get the work done. I always say Mr. President is a football player. You have to have the best team to win a game. And if you screw up, the president and vice president are below 60 years old. They are young. They should have the energy to get things done. They live in Liberia. And I was saying that 99% of the people in Jarwolo government live right in Monrovia. They know the struggle that people went through. They know the challenges. They know what it means to go out to University of Liberia, cannot find a food to eat. I don't think it was really time for the president to give free tuition this time. You don't have money. You don't have the money. Wax fee. What you do, develop a national scholarship program. Let people apply for it. People who qualify, who are scholars, a particular area they have interest, they apply after they complete the work. But you don't have money. You take millions of dollars and give for free tuition, millions of dollars to pay wax fee, and the actual people who voted for you, they're not feeding the dividend of that participation. People are getting frustrated. We come on time, people will just eat money and sit down, or just you that gave them money to vote for you. So it's a lot of work to do, and most of our thinking on 2023, what the change will be like. And I see the opposition. I don't see the opposition right now as alternative. I don't see them, and it will be late to have a new generation leader coming forth that will really move our country forward. We have the resources. We have resources. There's some of the countries that are better off today. We have the resources. We have qualified, experienced Liberian up there that will come home and help. But if you're not a member of the party, you can't get a job. You can't get a job. Most of the members of the party are incompetent. They don't know how to do the job.
And Eddie,
you can't take small country like Liberia, 66,000 president and put them on payroll, and they're doing nothing in the offices.
Wow. Talking about the political parties here again, any plan for you to start tracking these political parties, how they conduct their party affairs? Because if there's no accountability at the party level, I guarantee you, when they get to government, there'll be no accountability. I can say it freely. The CDC, there was no accountability in terms of who does this and does that and how effective they were at it. It was just about munya munya, and they got to government, it's the same thing. Shower praises, the loudest, and you get the biggest job. These political parties, you were talking about the CP, you said that it's more like a hopeless situation. They came up with their framework, right? The CPP framework. Yeah. Where is it? Where is it? When they signed it, they said, well, the one they released was a mistake, was not the actual one. There has not been any program for them to release the actual one. What's the timeline for their primary, if any? And
I don't know whether they even have anything to track. The CPP lost Nima County because of the division. So you have someone who on the AMC ticket from the same CPP, someone from the Liberia Party on the same CPP. When the guy from AMC could not make it on the ticket, he decided to go independent candidate. The same way in district number 9, the same way in Bapolo. The guy that the CPP put out couldn't make it. The lady that was in the CPP that ran independent candidate won the election. So you have to put your individual ego one side. You have to get the best winnable candidate on your ticket. And the political party don't have anything to track, to tell you the truth. They are contributing fighters to the problem we have in Liberia. Because the political party is not strong. Those who go to the legislature, FIDA, they are on their own. It's not the political party that made them. They feel that they won the election because they either spend their money or their messages resonated with the voters. So that's why we came up with a young political leadership school that you read about. The young political leadership school I'm talking about contributing to a new generation of character-driven political leaders that will be responsive, accessible, and accountable. To be a politician, be a leader, you are just serving the people. It's not for you. You cannot come to government and do you know that assistant minister walk to offices in Liberia and people have to stand up? The staff have to stand up to worship them. If you don't call them honorable, yes. If you don't call them honorable, it's a problem. They all want to be called honorable. And guess what? They spent 1 year in the office without making any change. I don't see any ministry in Liberia who have made an annual report to the Liberian people. Nothing. President Weah will be speaking next Monday. Right after that, it's done. Nothing else. We can't run the country like that. We can't run the government like that. The opposition will not be constructed to take the president and the message to do a critical analysis and make recommendation. Make a critical analysis and make recommendation on how to move forward. But people are getting frustrated. We are now a poor country, small country with less than 5 million people who can't even manage our own. We can't manage anything.
Eddie, the best tool that the opposition could use to point out the government contradiction is the budget. Even the budget, we had one of the opposition political party leaders here on this platform, and we asked him, hey, do you guys have like committee or think tank for these major sectors that are like ready should you win? And studying, we're asking, do you have a team of economists that are looking at the economy, tracking it, and coming up with possible solutions should you win tomorrow? And he said they don't have that, no need for that. And I answered, well, the economy is dynamic, it changes all the time. So what I'm trying to get to you here, Eddie, is that these people, they are not ready.
No.
They are not ready. They don't have people for sector by sector ready.
Yeah.
They don't have that.
Yeah. So for
go ahead.
For any serious political party to lead Liberia in a way that you have impact, you have to have a seasoned lawyer. You need to have someone who can do a research. You need to have a financial expert. You need to have someone like economy. And you start working ahead of it. You start working. You should have a radio program called Focus on the Opposition. Mm-hmm. Right? Let the opposition start selling their platform. Let them start talking about what they will do. Let them start talking. Let them start winning the people. Why do you think today Henry Costa is like, it's a hero in Liberia? Henry Costa engage the government. Any political party could come up with a program called Focus on the Opposition and talk about it. And the good thing about it is that Madam Sedi did a lot of training for young people. Madam Sedi, most of the young people that are in the United Party went to some of the best schools in the world. The opposition could use that expertise and bring them on board and work for the opposition to give them the platform to reorientate the mind of the Liberian people against the ruling party. No, equally so, the ruling party don't have the platform. Ruling party, they're weak. The propaganda machine is so weak. So you took, for example, I was telling somebody else that you took Simetope, a very good talk show host. You bury his talent in the executive mansion. You could have issue with the president. You could have Focus on the president, and you have Simetope on the radio educating people about what the government doing, what the president doing. But you took a man from the radio, one of the top, highly respected journalists, put into your government, made him deputy presidential secretary, his whole talent killed.
Well, for your information, we had Simetope here. We had a program going on with him here called Q&A with Simetope. We had 14 episodes. That was the final one, and then he said he got busy and left. But we are hoping that he can be able to join us. So usually the current issues, we throw the question to him as though we were asking, the president, and it was a good program going on. I hope, but what you said. It's
I also think the president should take advantage of the platform. Come on your radio, go to Spoon TV, get on Costa Show, take the ego, get up, engage the Liberian people, talk to them, speak your local, your simple English, let people get on. Eddie was doing it. Eddie had a program that was speaking local English people. But the president is so protected that nobody can easily get to him. You don't even go to certain area. Everything, even the president to have a press statement, it will be recorded, edited, and play. You don't treat the president like that.
No.
And that's what they have done to him.
That's what they have done to him. And you are right. The president could get out there and be talking. And this is what I see also in the whole Liberian political climate. The opposition and the government folks, they are divided. They all preach to their own choirs and their own choir alone, and that is all they do. Some people will not go to a certain platform because the thing is, the opposition platform, and I just know how all this going. And when you look at the results of the election, maybe that's something to tell the government that no, you're only talking to your people. Even your people are not happy. That is why they're not voting for you, and why you're getting the result. So you need to change your strategy.
Yeah. So at this election management study, so in most of the county we have more than 700,000 registered voters. 700,000. Since 2017, we now have more than 50% of normal, or even 40% of normal voting, because there are a group of people called undecided voter. They are not members of CDC, they are not members of opposition party. They want to know the issues, and they want to know what issue resonate with them. Simple issue like electricity, like water, like telecommunication, like improving the economy, job creation, entrepreneurship. Nobody saying anything. Nobody. You have Mr. Kumi on the radio for 1 hour. Most of what we saying, the government not doing anything. When the government come on the radio, they attack the opposition. They are not telling us exactly what is it we need to do. So now when the president speak, he should better get hope. But our minister come on the radio and say, this president is the best president Liberia ever had. The best.
Yeah, that's all they say, right?
They came out Ottawa say for the first time Liberia come to get a plane. Lone Star Air. Up to now, what a plane.
Well, we saw cake at the ceremony, and
yeah.
I pressed Toby on it here. They had a cake. I've never seen that before. You know, since I've been here, I've been working in the airline industry. I've never seen that before. I've been in the airline industry for about 9 years. I have not seen that before.
Yeah, so this will make people to don't believe, they lose trust in the government, that you keep giving them misinformation. Today, we can't see the plane. Whatever 419 or whatsoever, we're still waiting for the president to get a plane in the air flying, the Liberian flag.
And the time they said the plane was going to start operation was this gone October. October has since gone, and we brother, we have a long way to go. Hey, Eddie, thank you for honoring our invitation here. I think we should make a commitment to bring you here every time you release a new report, so that we can talk about it, and we can also reach out to you to talk about what role can the civil society play in either educating and sensitizing our people on these governance issues that are actually affecting us. Because when they know their rights, their roles and responsibility, chances are that they will be able to make a better decision and even want to get involved in the political process. I don't know if you have a time to look critically at the election results across Liberia. No county voted up to 56%. No, they were all in the 30s. So on the average, 30% or 35% of Liberians participated in the election. That is something else.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, your parting statement so that we can call it a day.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for such a platform. I think it's good that we can keep talking. Like the fact that you get more civil society people involved so we can balance it. And Liberia is the only country we have. We have to keep fighting. We have nowhere else to go, but our governance system needs some improvement. And we can do it by critically analyzing and telling the government that these are things you need to do in order to move forward. So thank you so much, and God bless you.
God bless you, and thank you for honoring our invitation, folks in cyberspace. Those of you who have been watching us, we want to say a very big thank you to you for following us here at Focus on Liberia. As always, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where our shows are uploaded so that you can have the opportunity at your lesser time to follow and listen and learn. Also, like our Facebook page so that when we are live, you can be able to get a notification and follow. Here at Focus on Liberia, we educate, we elevate, and we promote all things Liberia. We pride ourselves as the best in the business because of the diversity of programs that we bring here. We are no position, we are all position, meaning we care about every group in our community. Thank you, Eddie, again for coming. Our song is We Are All Liberians. Whether or not you are opposition, you are still a Liberian. Thank you, and bye-bye, folks.
Bye-bye.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia. We all Liberia.